Are you ready for some tea? Some wedding tea? Well, welcome to my YouTube channel and podcast. It's Desiree here, and I'm so very happy to see you. Allow me to sit this down. So, I am still having a bit of fun with my short stories. So, I have two more for you during this episode. And speaking of this episode, we're going to call this Missing in Action. I will say these two stories have a similar lead actor. Yeah, let's go with that. A similar lead actor, but are different in the same right. And I'm pretty excited to share these with you. So let me go ahead and give you some background on the first story. So this is a lovely couple that I had the honor of planning their wedding for several years ago. And let me tell you this, I still love this couple. I love what they are doing in their respective industries. They are winning. They are my friends. And yeah, when this happened, I was in a bit of shock because honestly, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Simply because the planning process had gone along so smoothly, there weren't any issues on my side. Let me say that. There were some wedding issues and there were some personal issues that also took place during the process. The couple leaned on me a lot, but I was able to embrace them. And so we built a really, really good rapport. So when we get to wedding day, I'm like, yeah, I know there are a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts because they had a lot of vendors. This was a wedding that was taking place downtown at a specific hotel on Michigan Avenue that has two towers. Okay, when I speak about towers, I'm talking about two towers that have hotel rooms in different, and there's an elevator between them. So you could be on the east side of the hotel or you could be on the west side of the hotel. I'm going to stop and leave that right there. So we are having our ceremony and the reception in the hotel, okay? And this is a pretty large wedding party, I might say. 12 and 12 on both sides. The groom, he was great. The bride, she was just so excited, so elated. She had been with her partner for such a long time and they were finally going ahead and making it official. So we get to the ceremony. It's time to line up the wedding party. All right. There's 12 couples. There's 12 bridesmaids, 12 groomsmen. There are some junior bridesmaids. There's some flower girls. This is a pretty big wedding party. So it's going to take them some time to get down the aisle. I was grateful for that. Let me say that, okay? It's going to take some time for them to get down the aisle. So my assistant and I, we are calling off the names. I've got another assistant up in the hotel on the other side of the hotel bank. I've got her in the room with the bride, and she knows to bring her, when I give her a call, to bring her down once the processional has begun. Because by the time she gets on the elevator, gets down, there will pretty much only be maybe 2 or 3 bridesmaids and groomsmen left to go down the aisle, as well as the junior bridesmaids and flower girls, ring bearers. So she has some time to go ahead and get in line, but her groom will have already entered into the ceremony space. So we've got this time. We've rehearsed this. All is well. It is now time. The music is cued. Boom. We start sending the couples down the aisle. The bride has been cued to make her way to the elevator. So at a specific time, when I make that call, like I said, she can go ahead and jump on the elevator and head on down. Couples are going in. They are taking their time. I'm loving it. And then I get word. I get word that the groom, he has left the rings inside of his hotel room. Yes, he has left the rings inside of his bag in his hotel suite on the other side of the hotel. I like this hotel because you can keep the couples apart. So the bride can be on one side of the hotel, the groom could be on the other side of the hotel. They can leave their rooms, move around, and never be seen. Now understand this though. Where the ceremony is taking place, that is the hotel bank or hotel area of rooms where the bride is located. Meaning the groom is on the other side of the hotel. The ceremony has begun, and we are now just notified that the groom does not have any rings for the ring ceremony. Like, okay, yeah. What are we going to do? Look, I'm still tongue-tied because in that moment I was like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Because literally the couples are going down the aisle. The best man chimes in and he was like, well, I could go back. I'm like, no, you have a specific role. I need you here. All right. Again, processional is still going on. So I had my assistant head on over to his room. She is running, I mean, hauling behind to get to his room. She gets up there. She's calling me on the walkie-talkie. And she's like, Desiree, I can't find the rings. I'm like, girl, no, listen, tear the room up. I don't know what you have to do. But at this point, we are now moving the bride into place, okay? So the processional is still going on. My assistant is in the room trying to find the rings. I'm scatterbrained because I'm like, oh my God, what is going to happen? Because no one is aware of this outside of myself, my assistant, the groom, and the best man. So about, I don't even want to say it was 5 minutes, okay? I do know the bride had already gone down the aisle and the ceremony was now moving forward. I will say she called me. She says, okay, I found them. She is literally now got to get all the way back to the other side of the hotel before the ring ceremony is to take place. Yeah, this is challenging. It actually takes her to tell you how fast she was running to get these rings over to the ceremony area. But now we got a problem. How are the rings, after she gets there, how are the rings going to get up to the altar without us walking down the side of the aisle to hand them off to someone, which is definitely not something I wanted to do. Grateful for the photography team. There were 3 photographers at this wedding, and one of them was stationed in the back to capture those wide angles, those wide shots. So we're kind of like, hey, come here. And he's looking at me. I'm like, come here. So the photographer comes over. I says, I need you to get these rings up front. Give it to the last groomsman and ask him to pass them down to the best man. He's looking at me and I'm looking at him. I'm like, go. So I hand him over the rings. He's the easiest person who can make it up to the front, right? To pass these rings off. To make a long story short, it did happen the way it was supposed to. No one was wise to the fact that the wedding rings were not present until that specific moment during the ring ceremony when the minister asked for the rings from the best man. The best man actually did have them. So, hey, it all worked out. So another one of these crazy ones. And listen, this is why I am very, very specific with whomever I give the wedding bands to. The rings, okay? Whoever I give the wedding bands to, the wedding rings to, I always ask that person, especially if it's a gentleman, could you please check your pocket? Please check the pocket in which you are going to put these rings into, because if the pocket has a hole in it, we've got a major problem. So yeah, this story actually did happen as well. We have a wedding ceremony. The groom gave his best man the bride's band, and the maid of honor had the groom's band. And typically, if you've been a part of the wedding, the ladies don't have pockets a lot of times on their dresses, so they will put the groom's band on like their thumb, or since that is probably the largest finger that can hold a ring of that size, they will put the ring on their thumb, or they will hold it in their hand while they are holding the bouquet. Personally, I prefer the thumb. With the gentlemen, because they have on suit jackets, tuxedo jackets, we tend to put the ring in the pocket. I did not handle the rings this time for the ceremony. And so I'm really grateful for that. To be honest with you all, I do not like handling wedding bands, wedding rings, engagement rings, because if I happen to lose one of those, that is a mortgage payment. Actually, probably several mortgage payments, and I don't have time to even play like that. So the groom gave his best man the rings. The best man put the rings in his pocket. He had both of them. Okay, he had both of the rings in his pocket. And when I say both, I'm talking about the bride's engagement ring as well as her wedding band. Okay, I am aware who everybody has the rings. We're going to go ahead and start this beautiful church ceremony. Everybody is down the aisle. the ceremony is taking place. Me and my team, we're standing in the back. We're watching all of this because we know, hey, everything is going off good. And then it comes to the part of the ring ceremony. Y'all, the minister said all of the words that he had to say. And then he asks the best man for the rings. The best man goes into his pocket. There are no rings. Because he's fumbling. You can see this from the back of the church. The best man is fumbling. There are no rings in his pocket. Now, I know firsthand that the groom gave the best man the rings. The best man is fumbling around in his pockets. He's looking perplexed. The groom is looking perplexed. The bride is standing there trying to smile like, what the heck is going on? Where are my rings, boo? What's going on? The best man is fumbling in his pockets. Come to find out, the rings had not disappeared. There just happened to be a hole in the best man's pocket, and those rings literally went into the hole, and the rings are now floating around in the lining of the tuxedo jacket. Listen, y'all, the entire ceremony is going on. Everybody is looking and seeing this. There are rings now inside of the lining of the best man's pockets. I'm like, okay, the groom, I don't know how he did it. I guess because I was looking intently, he must have felt my energy. He is looking at me like, what are we supposed to do? I'm like, okay, yeah, never have encountered this before. So as I am now coming on the side of the aisle to come up there, because I'm like, I have no idea what to do. Listen, I don't carry backup rings in my emergency kit. So him looking at me is, I get it, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. As I am walking down the aisle, this woman I think she was in either the second or the third row, she taps me and she says, hey, are you the wedding coordinator? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, use my ring. She took off her wedding band. She handed it to me. And I walked it up to the last groomsmen, and they literally passed this ring down to the best man, who then ultimately handed it to the minister, and the ceremony continued as it was supposed to. It's funny because you can see all of this in the video, the guys passing this ring down. You even catch a glimpse of me handing it off. The guys are passing this ring down to the best man. It's a funny moment, but definitely a memorable moment. One of those crazy things that happened at one of these Dejanay events weddings. Wedding went off as it was supposed to. Couple kissed. They exited ceremony. I grabbed the best man as he is leaving. I am standing by the door with scissors in hand to cut the lining of that jacket to get those rings up out of his possession and to get them on the beautiful bride's hand. We were able to make sure the photographer captured that silliness as well, videography too. So yeah, quite hilarious. And then of course we made sure that that beautiful woman who shared her band with us, that she received that back. And to come to find out, I learned that the woman who allowed us to use her wedding band was one of the groomsmen's wife. And she kind of was guessing what happened just based on the stillness and the shock of what was going on during the ceremony. She decided to be a willing participant. So I appreciate her for that. So yeah, another one of those crazy Dejanay event stories, but a fun one.